So today we're going to be jumping into a lesson about, we're jumping into a whole unit here about surface area and volume. But before we do that, I just want to clear up something that tends to be a confusion point for a number of people. First off, we have this important term, Rimeter, perimeter. So, perimeter, most of us, we kind of remember what perimeter is. We think about it going around the outside, right? How far it is along the outside of something. One of the really important things about perimeter is a length. And what that means is that perimeter is going to be measured as a distance. It's how far something is, how far it is all the way around something. Which means normally we would give measures of this in something like inches or feet, perhaps maybe in meters or miles or kilometers or, various measurements like that. And so that's perimeter, and that's what perimeter should look like. When we're dealing with area, area is different in that we don't measure area in length. We don't have, oh, this has an area of 9 inches. We actually measure area by measuring squares. And so we're saying how many squares are inside of this shape. It's just to measure the space inside of a two-dimensional shape. And so we would give our answers in this case would give something like inches squared or feet squared, or sometimes it's written like SQFT, where it's square feet. And so that when we're looking at area, what we're actually looking at is like how many square tiles could we place down to cover the same amount of area that this covers. One thing about area is always going to involve somehow multiplying two measurements in order to get the squared thing. Now, the final one here is volume. And volume specifically deals with three-dimensional shapes. And we measure volume in cubes. So we could have inches cubed, or we could have, sometimes it's CU, right? This would be cubic feet. Feet. Get rid of that right there. Cubic feet. Nope, still can't write it right. Cubic feet, or cubic miles, we don't normally measure things that big. Cubic centimeters. So the difference between each of these things here is always going to be if you see something that is measured in cubes, it's always going to be a volume if it has that to the third or the cubic there. If you have something that is measured in squares, right here, then you're talking about an area. Now, length can mean a lot of things. Perimeter isn't the only kind of length, but if you're dealing with some of the geometry stuff where we're looking at a perimeter of something, you're always going to get that answer as a length, and it's always going to be just in kind of regular units. And so, along with this, what we oftentimes see is formulas for perimeter. Usually, you are adding things together. You're not multiplying them. You're adding 5 inches and 3 inches. With area, you are multiplying two variables. They may be different. They may be the same, but you're taking the variable in the formula and multiplying it times another number. And in volume, you've usually got 3 of that thing. So that's going to help you understand what you're looking at as we move into the next into the unit here. And always pay attention to what are you looking for, and then how many variables should that be. If you think of perimeter as kind of a one-dimensional, you're doing a line, which is just a straight one-dimensional, area, which is a two-dimensional, and then volume, which is a three-dimensional. And your exponents here should match with that.